electric vehicle sales are going down. How do you explain this?
EV registrations increased by 15% across all of Europe last month, to a total of 108,552. Interestingly, in France, sales grew by 45%. In Belgium, 42%. Their market share is around about 12%, meaning just over 1 in every 10 vehicles sold last month in Europe was fully electric. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's just last month. I mean, that's just the month of April, right? It's actually not. The truth is that so far this year, electric car sales have increased from January to April by 6.5%. Not a huge increase, but it's still growth. The truth is here, guys, the media is trying to paint this as though EV sales have just fallen off a cliff, and that's not the case at all. Especially when you add to this the reality that EV sales in America actually went up by 3% last month. They went up by 15% in Europe last month, and they went up in China by even more than that. That's the 3 biggest car markets in the world.
Do you hear that? The 3 largest markets for vehicles on planet Earth are actually having rises in electric vehicle sales. America, Europe, and China. China being the largest car market of all of them. And the point is that the news keeps on saying that EV sales, no one wants EVs, EV sales are down, no one's buying EVs, yada, yada, yada. But here is actual proof. This is real proof. These are real numbers. This isn't some made up chart, all right? I'm going to leave a link in the description for you to check out with your own eyes if you would like to, unless you're one of those people who just don't like to know the truth.
So far this year, well, from January to April, 442,000 electric cars were sold in the European Union alone. So if you got people telling you, electric car sales, no one wants them anymore, it's dead, it's finished, it's over, Tesla's going to go bankrupt. I've heard that recently. I've seen that written by people. People are never going to get over this idea. Never going to get over it. They're never going to be able to move on from the horse to the motor car, they said back in 1910, 1920, whatever it was. But it happened very fast.
Yes, it is going to happen rather quickly. A lot of people still don't get this. They want to be ignorant and say, oh, blow the electric cars my butt. Look, the first car ever was created in 1886 by Benz. Yes, Benz. And it didn't take until about maybe 34 years for cars to actually catch on to the point to where they stopped using horses. Here is a photo of New York City back in 1900. And then 13 years later, 1913, this is the same street in New York City. Everyone is using a car. There's probably literally one person with a horse in the picture on the right side. Good luck finding it. But this is the point. This is what disruption looks like. It comes out of nowhere. There's still people who are like, there's no way we're going to use cars. What the heck is that? It's a rich person's toy, blah, 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 blah. The same thing was said about Teslas. Literally, people were like, it's a rich person status, blah, 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 blah. It's just a gimmick. No one's going to use it. Well, people, it took about 34 years for cars being created to taking over just the market. And Tesla started making electric vehicles in 2003. It's 2024. We're not that far away from that 30-year mark to where everyone is inside of an electric vehicle. People can still scratch their heads and say, oh, there's no way. But you're no different from the people in the past who were like, cars? Yeah, right. Even though electric cars been out before, I'm not saying that Tesla's the only one who's making electric cars. The point I'm trying to make is that car companies are doubling down now on electric vehicles like ever before. But the transition will be here. By the time it's 2030, don't be surprised when you literally see more and more electric vehicles on the road than you see gasoline cars. Now, I'm not saying they're going to replace all the gasoline cars. I'm saying you're going to notice a massive jump in seeing electric vehicles than you ever have. And this transition will continue until the point of gasoline cars, the sales will collapse, EVs will get cheaper to produce and to sell, and people will start to catch on just like they did with horses and cars. Well, that's enough for the day. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow. I post videos daily about what's going on in the auto market, big tech, Tesla, and all sorts of things. I'll catch you next time. Peace. See you tomorrow.